almost spring. The weather is getting warmer, and long story short is it is mite season. I have for sure already been seeing this in my flocks. I have been showing you guys how I've been treating for mites in my flocks. The other day in Don Juan's coop, which I hate to even admit to, there was a hen. Look, here's what's happening, okay? I am finding mite infestation on some of my birds right now, and they are showing zero symptoms. Like, there is no missing feathers, there is no dirty booties. They are still laying eggs. There's like no symptoms. But on this one black hopper Moran's hen in particular in Don Juan's pen, I noticed the other day that she was just like sitting in the middle of the afternoon on the floor in her coop, which is weird. Like, normally chickens are active. They're pecking around, they're jumping, they're flapping. Like, it is abnormal, I feel like, to see a chicken just plop down in the middle of a run in the afternoon. So I went to snatch her up, and I have this way that I like snatch up chickens where like I kind of like, I'll grab them by the tail feathers and then like push them down, and then I grab them by the wings. But anyways, when I know it sounds a little archaic, but it's really not. It works. I'm like a professional chicken wrangler. So anyways, I went to snatch her real quick by the tail feathers, and when I grabbed those, it wasn't actually her tail feathers. I grabbed accidentally like the feathers right around the vent, the like floofy feathers, and I didn't know what was about to happen, but she was so infested with mites down there that when I touched those feathers, they just ripped right out of her. I know it sounds really bad. I swear, I mean, it's really, the mite infestation was real bad. If there wasn't mites there and I would have grabbed her the way I did, those feathers would have been unbothered. But because there were so many millions of mites underneath the feathers that I couldn't see, and they were eating away at like the dander and around her feathers, that when I touched those, they just came right out, and a bunch of scabbing came out. I couldn't even film it. I couldn't even film it because I was so horrified that I just picked her up. I immediately brought her over and I washed her off with water and Dawn dish soap. Because when I got her over and I really got a good look at her, they were all over her vent. They were all like down up the front of her. Like, I literally have never seen an infestation like this. And it's wild because, like I always say, there's always like a couple sacrificial birds where it's like really bad. I have never seen anything like that. I washed her. I went through, fortunately there's only 4 birds in that coop right now. I just have Don Juan and 3 hens, and he's getting older, y'all, and he just can't fertilize like he used to back in his like Don Juan OG days. So anyways, I got everybody cleaned up in there. I washed them all. I haven't treated them with anything yet because they were wet and I needed them to dry out. But I did get all the mites off. I mean, most of the mites off with the water and Dawn dish soap. But what I wanted to show you today is, I'm always talking, you have to treat the birds, but you also need to treat the environment. So I'm going to be treating the nesting boxes and all the dirt around the coops too. And I'm always talking about a permethrin dust. Now, there are several different things that you could use to treat. You could use a permethrin dust. You could use Electra PSP, the same mixture that you use on the birds, which is 9 cc's per gallon of water. You could also use as a premise spray around the coop. I am going to be using a permethrin dust. I got this on Amazon. I'll put a link somewhere. The only active ingredient is permethrin. Now this stuff, I'm going to use it all around the floor of the coops. I'm also going to use it in the nesting boxes. Theoretically, you could use this, you could dust the birds too. Big job ahead of me, y'all, because I have a lot of breeding pens, and clearly every premise needs to be treated. I can't leave one stone unturned. I'm going to start with the coops where I know that there's issues. My black hopper Morans, I treated some wheat Americanas the other day. My silkies are really prone to mites, so I'm going to start there and just kind of work my way around. I mean, what else can I do, right? Just do a little bit each day until the job gets done. And look, this is just the nature of it. This is the nature of it. In Florida, I feel like we are more prone to parasites, external parasites. It's the time of year where mites are really active, and I have a fairly large scale chicken keeping operation. You know what I mean? Like, I don't just have like a backyard flock. So this parasite management is just part of it, how I'm going to manage the parasites and keep them at a minimum. Not like this every year. I know that I'm always talking about managing parasites, but it's because I want you guys to be aware of it, because they can turn into infestations really quickly, and sometimes without your even awareness. Like, they multiply fast, you know? So I know that I'm always talking about managing it, but it's not like that. It's got to be this year. There's something about this year and this spring. I don't even know. But anyways, I just wanted to teach you about this.